All right, so the Yuno and Langris units have been confirmed by Black Clover Mobile. They've been posted on all their socials, and I decided why not just yank that screenshot, yank that image, and get a free 700 likes on my Twitter, right? So these people will be coming out on different times on the different servers, but the way you could kind of just check it out is in basically three resets from now. So when we see this another two times after this, then we're going to be getting Yuno and Langris on the 25th. So in about 3 days time, a bit less depending on your server, we're getting Yuno and Langris, even though they're already in the game now. It's officially confirmed. So that's great. Pretty cool graphic. People seem to be pretty excited with it, I guess. Yuno and Langris are still pretty hype units. So we're going to check them in the glossary, go over their kits, and then talk about the should you summon. So I'm going to split it up into three parts, right? If you guys want to see their kits and like kind of see how they would work, then of course just stick around for this part. Now I just want to see, I want to hear Langris's voice. I haven't heard it in English yet. Could it?
What a vulgar bunch.
That's okay. I wasn't expecting it to be crazy, but you know, not bad. So not really much to say. So Yuno is a red debuffer and Langris is a green attacker. I do want to start with Langris since he's the first of, well, a Langris unit. He is a green attacker, and just like filtering by green attackers at the moment, on global, there's not much. There's Raya, Lake, the Langris, and Jack and Fuego, right? Pretty mediocre units. Now, what role does Langris serve? Well, he is going to be more of a speed unit, and if we check how he works, actually, I didn't check this out. I did not. Maybe they changed the dupes. Imagine.
What a vulgar.
Imagine. I don't think they did, huh? Did they change it? Yeah, never mind. They did not change it. Very unfortunate. But basically, he's just going to be a very quick unit, and the more dupes you get in him, the quicker and just more he'll be spamming his ultimate, right? So you could see that with dupe 4 and 5, he is going to be getting 3 speed on each of them, which is the same as Red Season 1 Asta. Now, going into his kit. Skill 1 is just going to be having a chance to give him extra SP and does pretty good damage. I feel like I use this sometimes and then the enemies just die, which is pretty good. Now, Skill 2 is what gets him to be pretty interesting, I must say. So, how it works is that when he uses his skill 2, he's going to have to designate a target. This is a buff skill. So, he's going to have to designate a target. The target he designates is going to be removing 2 of their SP. Now, even if they have 0 SP, this thing will still work. Then he's going to be giving himself 2 SP. When you have the skill page, this becomes 3 SP. Then he also has a chance to inflict a debuff on him, which is reduced HP recovery received for the, or not on him, on the designated ally. But honestly, this is really nothing, especially when you could lower the rate by 32% and it'd be only 13%. And then he gives himself speed, which actually will be coming quite useful, because you could see this on a unit like Julius, where it does help him a lot, and Langris could spam it pretty much the same amount. Now, his ultimate is an AoE that has pretty mediocre damage amounts, up to I think 110% if I... 110 or 108. I think it's 108%. And basically, he puts HP recovery immunity, which is only the one-time healing, not continuous healing. He puts increased favor damage dealt on everyone for 2 turns, which is very good because that's 20% extra type advantage damage. Reduces HP recovery received on the allies by 40%, which this is going to be for the continuous healing, and gives himself debuff immunity for 2 turns. This, why it's good, is because you're able to spam it. And the minute he gets to dupe 2, he gets 2 SP every turn, and then he's getting 2 up to 3 on his, with his skill page here. So immediately after, like, what, 2 turns, you could re-get your ultimate. Because you get 3 here with skill page, you get 2 here, that's 5. But the first turn, you're already getting 2 because of the talent. So that's 2 plus 2, 4, and then you use this 7, then the turn after you have 8. So there you go, right? That's literally just all it is. It's very good. It is honestly really good. And it's going to be good. Now, Langris's damage is a bit lackluster. Let me also talk about this that makes him a lot better, where he has his immortality. For 1 turn, he gets immortality when he falls under 30%, which is a very strong effect. And it's going to allow him to be a bit better because he is a bit squishy, right? He is squishy, which is why they give all these units immortality. And yeah, it makes sense. Now, what I do like also is his barrier is, or his combo is a barrier removal, which does do pretty good damage if you put it with someone else. It could actually come in quite handy depending on the teams you're running it on. Now, his main thing is that he does lack a pretty good team at the moment. And then when he does have a better team, then he's not really the one you want to run on this team because obviously Fauna is going to be out at that point. Now, is he horrible? No, he's runnable. I'd say he's pretty good damage wise. It's just honestly, I look at the teams and I don't really know what would be a like really meta team for you to run him on. If I'm being honest, that's my current thoughts on him. But he can be used, and I will try to basically use him in the future. He's not bad, but you do need more investment in him for him to be even usable. Because if you don't have his skill page, don't have his dupes, don't run him. Don't. You need 2 dupes and skill page probably, at least 2 dupes, at least at the bare minimum, right? So that's Langris. He's on his own banner, and overall, should you be summoning? I don't think so. Langris, you should not, especially for people who are planning to summon on Fauna, Hatred Fauna. This Langris is just a worse version of Hatred Fauna, especially when you consider that Langris needs max dupes to be able to get his 109 speed when Fauna just gets 109 speed at 0 dupes. So, yeah, Fauna is going to be a lot better, and she seems to be staying good, especially with Mario Leona. So, yeah, I'm very excited to see how that ends up playing out. But Langris is not horrible, just not someone that is worth your wishes overall, okay? Now, I want to start with something. He does not have a place in the meta at the moment to be as top tier as he is on JP. Now, you could run some teams. I don't 100% know if those teams will work because we will need to see how impactful Yuno will be for them. But it could work, okay? Yuno is a debuffer at 107 speed, okay? And it's decent, right? If we go to the speed, we could see he's, there's a lot of DPS higher than him because of the fact they all have their dupes. But besides that, he is quicker than a good amount of units and as quick as a lot of units. So it's pretty decent, right? Like, it's not bad. Now, it doesn't really matter because of how he works, but I just wanted to preface that. Now, his main thing is on a mono red team, so you're basically working with all these units in the now and in the future, right? Because this is on JP. So let's get into him and talk about how he works. So main thing is that if all allies are red, you give yourself 20% increased mobility, which is just a Voltos ult for himself, which will allow him to go first pretty much every single time, which is great, right? Now, his whole kit revolves around his ult. His ult applies to 2-turn total silence, which cannot be blocked. You can't block it with any debuff, with any blocking skill. Okay. He also applies taunt for 1 turn, which at the moment also cannot be blocked. And then he applies 32% reduced mobility on the enemy. Now, this reduced mobility thing is going to get better over time, but at the moment, there's a lot of Marses in the meta. I don't see Marses anymore on JP meta. Unless y'all find some pretty fun teams, it's not really... It's going to get better over time, and Mars is just going to fade out. So you're going to start being able to put the reduced mobility. Now, why this is good is because you basically get to just stop someone from being useful for 2 turns. You reduce the mobility, push them back, you taunt them for 1 turn, which could stop any buffing effects they have for their combo. So, for example, let's say the combo, you're using someone who has a buff skill. Let's say Sally, right? Sally. So, Sally, her thing is a buffing skill, and taunting stops the buffs. Because her part is a buffing skill and you taunted them, they can't use their combo, even if Total Silence doesn't block it, so they can't use their skill 2, alt, or combo, which is how that works, and then Total Silence for 2 turns. Total Silence especially, because it's alt and skill 2, is very strong. And basically, especially in the future, it's going to allow you to either play to where you block the DPS or you block the support however you want. So running this is going to be very good. At the moment, I'm just a bit iffy on if the red units are going to be good enough, right? Because if we look at it, in terms of red DPSs, we have Noelle, which is great, right? It's really great. Now, besides that, you have Fuego and Leopold Asta, which you would not run. So there's a lot of units that, might not be the best. And Fuego does need a full burn team for him to really cook. So I would say if when Charmy comes out, you want to run the team, you might be able. I'm not saying it's going to work, but you might be able. Now, with Noelle, you could basically just run a very toxic team where you're just pushing back someone else, and then you're just running the, nuking team, right? You could put Finral, Noelle, and then Charlotte or someone else, right? But I think it does get a lot better once we get Black Asta and Witch Queen, right? That's my main thing is when we get Black Asta and Witch Queen, you ain't running any other type of team. So, long term is very good. I really like him. He is, I think he's my 2nd or 3rd favorite PvP unit at the moment. He is very good long term, but I wouldn't say he's that good right now. But maybe some teams will be good. It's just with how the meta is looking, it's going to be very very difficult to really gauge how he'd work. But I don't think until we get Black Asta at the very least with Witch Queen, it won't be that good. It might work a bit, but there's some teams it won't be crazy against, right? So that's basically my current thoughts on it. Now let's go on. So skill 2 just has a chance to apply silence, 50% chance to hit weed, decent. And then this, if an enemy is afflicted with silence or total silence, there's a 50% chance up to 70% chance to grant yourself 20% mobility. And then on his combo, he just has he gets the total silence again. So this obviously penetrates through any type of debuff block, stun block, anything. So yeah, essentially that's it. He is very good, right? He is very good. Should you be summoning? Honestly, okay, let me go back to my thing. So remember, up till about March 4th, we have pretty much the full schedule. Because we don't have this confirmed, but considering that the season starts on February 6th, we know that a month later, considering there's 2 banners here, is going to be season 5. Not season 6 anymore, season 5. So you see that the gap between Asta and Witch Queen is about a month. So essentially, we're getting Witch Queen in about a month and a half, unless my 8 day, no, more, right? We got all of February plus like 20 days. So we're only really gonna see these guys. Yeah, no, 2 months after, almost 2 months after. So Witch Queen, why you would need Witch Queen for a mono red is because she's the only one that activates Asta to be able to DPS whenever you want, right? Because she puts him under the threshold needed to have anti-magic and do his damage. So if you're running mono red, you will, like, the meta team for mono red is going to be Yuno, Asta, Witch Queen, and then either Finral or Charlotte is the team I see. Sometimes Noelle, but usually Finral or Charlotte. So because of that, it doesn't make sense to really invest now when you need Witch Queen to be able to do that DPS, right? So you're summoning 2 months in advance when you probably should be saving for the actual fest unit. So overall, is your great unit? Yes. I would either wait for them to start implementing custom pickup banners where we could choose who to feature, or just get him on the unfeatured. Because what you got to note is that when the banner ends, I'll do my summon. When the pickup banner ends, whenever pickups end, they always go to the unfeatured pool of the next banner. So it's going to be permanently in the unfeatured, which means you don't need to summon and hope you get lucky, right? Now, if you're just a little dolphin, right? I don't think it's bad if you go for it. I just don't see it being too useful going for it right now when he won't be in meta, like in the real meta, until 2 months later. And obviously, another thing about it is that for free-to-play, it's high investment. You might be willing to do it because it would be Yuno, Black Asta, and Witch Queen. That's one of the main teams that you see in PvP. So it depends on what you want to do, right? It really does. Now, should you be summoning right now? Personally, my opinion is no. But if you don't get him, it ain't my fault. Okay, if you summon now, you got to realize there's other sacrifices that you're going to probably have to make. I would say it's better. If you want to do 50 pulls, 30 pulls even, sure, go ahead. I don't think you should be splurging 200 pulls on this Yuno if you get unlucky. Your cap at the very maximum is like 70. Because after you need to summon on Asta, that's like the only banner I really recommend summoning on. Yeah, because like you have dupes for like season 5 and season 4. If you don't, I don't know what you're doing with your dupes. But look, by season 4, we're going to have 8 dupes that we've gotten. I don't know where you put those dupes. But hey, you should have at least 2 for Noelle and at least 2 for Charlotte. Because look, we're going to be at 9 dupes February 21st, which means if you did use 5 on Julius, you still have 4 to use, 2 on Noelle, 2 on Magna, and then I say someone on Asta. So that's my motto. That's like my opinion. So anyway, don't summon for these two. They're both decent units. Yuno is one of my favorite units. I just have a lot of fun basically nullifying anyone. But he won't be as good until 2 months later. But this guy is going to stay good probably until the ends of time. Or until they put like 140 speed in the game. Because at the moment, no matter what, he does go first. If you build him right and you have him on a full mono red team, he will go first, even above Charlotte and William. But he'll need to have good red units for him to be good. And at the moment, there's not a crazy good red team, but there will be in the future. So yeah, that's basically my take on it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.